Hey guys, I hope you guys are off to a great start to your week and enjoying things. This week's coaching video is going to be a little less on the fun, goofy side. I really want to try to help you guys think through leading these small group discussions with your students through this generation change material. So last week, especially on the middle school side of things, I got a little bit more negative feedback from you guys, feeling like the material was not really connecting with students. Or they weren't connecting with it. It was kind of a crazy week to begin with. So what I want to do right now is kind of walk through a little bit of what to be looking for and planning for in your small group time, and ways you may be able to help make a connection where one doesn't seem supernatural just right in front of you. So basically, this week in the video, they're going to talk about different myths that people have about money. And the kids have them right now, right? So you think back to the different myths that you used to believe when you were growing up, even just back to the basics, like there being monsters in a closet or something like that. We would believe these things to be true, even though the reality is they weren't. So they're going to address some of those things. And so you get to talk about that in your small group time tonight. So some of the ideas they're going to hit on are, what to expect, someday when you go to college. What do you expect when you get out of college? What kind of income would you expect to have? For a high schooler, they may be thinking that right now as they're planning what kind of career they want to go into. They may plan it based on what's the average income for this career. A middle schooler may not really be thinking a lot about that right now, and to say that the average income for a recent college graduate is $27,000 a year, significantly less than the $73,000 that people expect to receive coming out of college. If you told a middle school student $27,000 a year, they're going to be like, "Holy smokes! I get $27,000 a year." They'd see it very differently, a little bit outside reality. So how do we bridge that gap? And so what they're going to do is they're going to talk a little bit about budgeting and stuff like that, and I'll get to that as we kind of walk through here. So basically, when you get to your small group time this week, you're going to be starting on your leader guide 86, 87, those pages. So basically, every time each week when it says break into small groups, that's where you guys are going to be taking over. So you're going to do an activity called predicting the future, basically where you're going to be having the kids, they got a page in their workbooks. It's on page 48 for them, 92 for you. That's basically got four different questions that they're going to go through, and they get to kind of guess what it is that it may be. So first one, when asked how much they thought they would earn in their first job after college graduation, most teens said that's where they would put in how much they think they would make, right? And you guys in your leader guides have the correct answer in there, to kind of have this discussion, start to expose some of these myths about money that teenagers have today. And you're going to kind of go through, talk about budgeting here as you continue on to page 93 and some of the basics of it. And they have an activity on page 49 of their book, Budgeting Basics, right, where it's going to have them list the different forms of income. It's going to have them list expenses that they have and goals that they may have. And now here's where some of that disconnect may happen. Especially you high school leaders, you're going to have some students who have jobs. They have regular income, and that's great. So they get to put that stuff down, right? They may have some expenses. Their parents may make them pay for the gas, for the insurance in their car. They may have to pay for a portion of their cell phone bill, whatever it may be. Think through what that might look like for a high school student. Now, a middle school student probably doesn't have much in terms of regular income or regular expenses. So you might have them talk about different ways that they'd spend money that they get, right? So a lot of times they might get money at Christmas or a birthday. How do you spend that money when you get it? What are the main areas, right? So under expenses, they may not have a cell phone bill that they're paying, but there's a good chance that they've got stuff they want to do. They want to go see a movie with their friends. They want to go get some food at McDonald's or whatever it may be. How do they have a plan? And, I want to encourage you, especially you middle school leaders right now, as you guys kind of voiced to me some disconnect with the material. There are things in life that we learn before we're directly involved with them, right? To prepare us for when we are. And this may be one of those things for these middle school students that right now they're looking at it, and they may not feel the need to budget right now, but that doesn't mean that it's a bad thing for them to learn. So a key principle, while they may not set up a monthly budget, but they can set up different goals that they may have financially. So for instance, one of our 7th grade boys this last week went home and told his parents that he needs to start saving for college. Amazing, right? And that's a good principle, right? So a principle to save money, right? You could talk about a principle of budgeting, the principle being to have a plan, right? You have a plan for how your money is going to be spent, but you can have a plan for many things, right? A plan for how you're going to use your time, what all you're going to do, where you want to go, what you want to be. We have plans, and we should have a plan for our money as well. So that'll take you through page 95 of your leader guide. And then just kind of keep working through here. I'm trying to see if there's anything else that would be really helpful for you guys. So that they talk about some giving tips in here, which is great. And, something, again, they talk about the value of giving things that aren't just your money, right? So people may not always have a bunch of money that they can give, but they have different resources like their time or just the energy that they have to do something. So those are things you're going to want to start to highlight, the joy and the gift of being able to give and build that virtue now, even at a young age when they may not have a ton of money. And so if they got $20 for their birthday, it may be a good thing to encourage them. Well, could you give 2 of it to the church, right? 10%. Just make that a habit now when it's very little, and when it becomes more someday down the road, it's far easier to continue what you've already started, right? You've got some other questions that you're going to work through on page 100 of your leader guide. Think of the 5 myths exposed in this lesson. Which one influences you the most? These are when you get into a little bit of those discussions. In what ways can a budget for you to do things you couldn't do otherwise, right? So maybe you're looking at that one instead of thinking budget. In what ways can a plan free you up to do things that you wouldn't otherwise be able to do? Even with your money, what are goals? How can having a plan to meet some goals free you up or give you some excitement, or whatever it may be? So think about these things. And then their homework for this week is actually going to be to put together their first budget, right? So especially you middle school leaders, high schoolers, again, they probably have some level of a budget that they can put together. It may be minimal, but at least have them do that. Middle school, it may just be thinking, have them think of some different goals that they'd like to set as far as they go in wanting to spend their money someday, or do they want to be able to start saving for college? Do they want to start saving up so when they turn 16 they can get a new car and have a great time with that? Or is there a particular gaming console or thing that they want to buy, maybe a new instrument or you name it? I don't know what it may be, but have them think goals, and then how are they going to get there, right? How do they get to that goal? Because that takes planning, budgeting, right? So I just want to encourage you guys, keep going strong through this material. It's great stuff to learn, and I know that some of you all may feel a little disconnected with it, feel like the kids aren't connecting with it. I would just encourage you to press into that more, continue to encourage them in it, continue to teach it, be faithful with it. And again, I've told some of you guys this right now, maybe more than ever, your prep work ahead of time is going to be huge, right? Because that way you can look at the material and how to maybe nuance it a little bit for your particular group to help connect with them and meet some of their needs where they may be. But remind your students that even if they're not here right now with budgeting or dealing with a lot of money, they will be at some point. So it's good to learn about it now ahead of time so they're prepared for when that time comes. Basically, that's what I've got for you today. Sorry this wasn't super entertaining, but I just want to make sure you guys are all as prepared as you can be to lead these discussions and help continue in this curriculum. So our word of the video today is going to be myth. Myth is the word of the video, so please text that to me or to Mario, email it to us so that we know you were able to watch this video ahead of time before Wednesday night and coming into the evening prepared and ready to go. Otherwise, we are both praying for you. Mario had to step out for a little while, so fortunately he wasn't here, but I know he's praying for you too. So otherwise, let us know if you got any questions. If we can do anything to help you guys out, but otherwise we will see you Wednesday night, 6:15 for our leader meetings. Can't wait. It's going to be great.